Okay, so we just got done with week 12, and I don't know how it's possible, but I just keep getting more and more pissed off at some of these teams. So strap in, because this is probably going to be a longer one than usual. As of right now, we're living in a very rare moment in history where the Detroit Lions are a good football team. However, past traditions are simply too powerful. The Lions are not allowed to win on Turkey Day, and throw in a waxing gibbous phase, and this team sure as hell isn't coming anywhere near a win. This game was Bears vs. Lions Part 2. Goff was pressured heavily, the Lions defense got zero pressure, and all the while, the offense for Detroit was seemingly turning it over every play. I am officially worried now. This is at least 2 weeks in a row of Jared Goff showing his tendencies to revert to his past form, and if this team has Super Bowl dreams, then this bad habit from Jared needs to be exterminated immediately. But on the other side of the field, Green Bay, I owe you an apology. I'm really sorry. Yes, the NFC is that bad, but it doesn't take away from the fact that you guys are actually in position to make the playoffs. So for the first time, this is truly unprecedented, but I am going to remove you from the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. Jordan Love is just that guy, I guess, so congratulations. Guys, I'm running out of ways to make Cowboys segments more interesting. I've got nothing. The Cowboys have seemingly had the easiest schedule ever composed, and the slaughtering has just been constant. And meanwhile, the Commanders continue to sink deeper and deeper into their own ever-increasing pile of sludge and filth. Jack Del Rio was fired, so that's a start, but you should just begin looking for head coaches for next year. I don't know, Ben Johnson, Jim Harbaugh, Dion, I don't care. Just begin the interview process, because Ron Rivera is a dead man crawling, and everyone on this planet knows that.
Are you kidding me?
Yet another real underwhelming Thanksgiving game, but it was expected. The Seahawks aren't good, and I know Geno and K9 were hurt, and I guess Tariq Woolen, the next Richard Sherman, is just a whole different player after his injury, but this team showed little to no fight. Take away the pick six, and this game never even for a millisecond was outside of the control of Kyle Shanahan, with Geno having a nice 14 yards and a pick at halftime. It's the same thing for the 49ers and Cowboys every week. The good team beats the bad team, but I guess in the 49ers case, they tend to beat at least not the worst team in the league every week, so yeah, like I said, the good team beat the bad team. Nothing more. If there was ever a singular event to encourage day drinking for Jets fans on a weekday, then here you go. It turns out Zach Wilson isn't to blame for every problem this team has. Maybe, just maybe, Nathaniel Hackett doesn't know what sport he's coaching. Possibly, the O-line having a comically long injury list means something, and guess what? Some scraggly-ass dude emerging from the enchanted forest of New York isn't going to fix anything for you. But the best part is, the Jets literally played like how they played all year. This game wasn't abnormally bad, it was just another Jets game. Throw in some nonsensical bull though, and that's how you get people really pissed off, or laughing, because I got a solid chuckle in off of this one. However, for all the Jets' misery, the Dolphins continue to just unimpress me. Tua is a dancing puppet to Mike McDaniel's puppeteer, and that's worked out, but we're at a point where Miami's offense is giving up way too many points. I'm not just talking about the pick six in this game, but over the past couple of weeks, the turnovers have just set opposing teams up in great position, and add on some costly drops too, and I can really see this coming back to kill them in January. Also, Jalen Phillips is dead. So, I didn't think a nerf was necessary, but the football gods do what they believe is right and just. And also on the topic of injuries, I gotta get something off my chest. It feels like Tyreek Hill is playing through injuries that he shouldn't be playing through just to try and chase that 2,000 yardage mark. It's a mistake that I've seen before. The 2016 Warriors did the same exact thing. Tyreek, if you're hurt, just rest. They need you in the postseason, not in November. So this game had a ton of good and a ton of bad. The good was just watching Stroud and Lawrence go back and forth. T-Law once again was doing his thing, cannibalizing the Texans through the air. His stats already look elite, but the Jags also dropped at least 6 huge passes, which honestly could have easily put him closer to 500 yards. It was that gross of a performance. CJ Stroud also did his thing, but he was more forced into that role. As has been their plan all year long, the Texans will force the run down your throat, but if you can stop it, then they'll give CJ Stroud a spatula and a preheated barbecue and tell him to get to grilling. But honestly, he never really should have had a chance. If the Texans defense didn't hold up near the end of the first half, or if Ridley caught this pass, then this game could really easily have been a blowout. But Stroud, as I've said time and time and time again, he's just too powerful. And even after being the victim to some brutal drops and injuries to his line, he managed to get the team into field goal range, where it really looked like they were going to steal this win away from Jacksonville and go
58 yards away. It's on line. Does it have the distance? No! It's short!
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you gotta love the crossbar miss. But to touch more on what I was saying before, the bad is the refs. My God. The whole pack of zebras came to play today. It was just bad call after bad call, and I'm sure either side of this game wants to talk about how their fan base was robbed more, but really it was just bad all around, and we need to start a petition or something. These can't keep getting away with performances like this. Whatever though, it was still a good game, and it's gonna be so much fun to watch these two teams compete for the next couple of years, unless they both revert back to their old ways. And also, Josh Allen is good at football. He did well today. Man, Baker's having a tough game. This was the Bucs' big chance to get themselves some respect in the NFC South, and instead they just down their leg and slipped on it. But you know the drill with the Bucs at this point. They suck, smashed by injuries, and are surely just going to blow it up after this year. But the Colts are on the complete opposite spectrum from Tampa. This team had expectations of being the worst in football. I 100% believed DeForest Buckner and other good players were just going to be traded by now. But no, this team is rallying behind a competent coach. And at this point in time, the Colts are in the playoffs. Will this keep up? Probably not, but Indianapolis dropped near 400 yards on Tampa and did it with relative ease. Just like Ron Rivera, Todd Bowles is toast, and without Levante David and the others out there, it got ugly. So in other words, it's still entirely possible that we have to see Baker and the boys play in some January football. Great. After one game, it's looking like I was wrong. I was team Kenny Pickett is to blame for the Steelers' offensive struggles just as much as Matt Canada was. There were several passes that Pickett just threw into the void in the past, and he seemingly struggled to read coverages at a high level, but not in this game. The middle of the field was opened up to Kenny Pickett for the first time ever. I might just shed a tear. This Steelers offense worked. Najee Harris looked like a first-round pick. The defense still did its thing for the most part. It was beautiful in every way, shape, and form, and Kenny Pickett is the franchise quarterback in Pittsburgh, and the Steelers are gonna go to the Super... Oh, whoa. Hold on. Let's chill out for a minute. Yes, the Steelers looked pretty good, but let's remember the Burrow-less Bengals are a very bad football team, and I fear even with the Shyster banished, the offense for Cincy won't change whatsoever, which in terms of complexity definitely won't help Jake Browning get better. Add that onto injuries for the Bengals and a little pregame scuffle in Pittsburgh, and what I think happened here is the Steelers benefited from a little coach-fired magic that the Bills and Raiders have already seen this year, and if they still had Matt Canada in office, this team would have bombed this week and collapsed into oblivion. But that didn't happen, and instead what we saw was the Steelers getting probably their most complete win of the season by a landslide, and I do hope I'm wrong though. I hope that this wasn't just a blip on the radar and this is how the Steelers are going to play in the future. I hope. The heated matchup everyone was waiting for had finally arrived. Falcons versus Saints. Which one of these sorry excuse for franchises would have the singular game advantage in the race to the playoffs? And to be honest, Jesse Bates kind of just outplayed the entire Saints offense. Derek Carr had more time in the pocket than usual, but with Slantman, Olave, and Rashid Shaheed injured, the offense just ran out of firepower and good ideas, even against the Falcons' defense also just torn apart by injuries. I mean, we knew this game was going to suck because these teams suck, but when Blake Grupe is your best source of offense, how do you expect to win this game, New Orleans? The Falcons also on the other side of the field with Desmond Ridder looked actually pretty solid. They played how I thought they'd play before the season, minus the still very mediocre quarterback play at best, just abusing the Saints in the run game. All three backs in Bijan, Cordell, and Algier averaged over 5.5 yards per carry, and leading on the run game was all they needed to do to close out a once again, still absolutely terrible football team in the Saints. What else can I say? The Falcons are better than the Saints when they play at least to and or above their expectations slightly, and for New Orleans, I I won't bring it up again, but wow, that Derek Carr contract, it is just going to age like some milk at this point. Wait, nope, actually, hold on, never mind. This was the game everyone was waiting for. Titans versus Panthers in the ultimate battle to the death to see who is the worst team in football, and it's the Panthers. Sweet Jesus, this team is tough to watch. Will Levis got protected well, Bryce Young did not, and Derrick Henry, big man, run hard is kind of all you need to know for this game. But I know I touched on this earlier, but at some point, we just have to crown this Panthers season as officially the worst in their history. It's gotta be 2001 where they went 1-15. There is quite literally zero incentive to watch a Panthers game if you're a fan other than watching your players develop. But that isn't even happening because Bryce Young just instantly gets pressured every play, and because you're not winning the game already, that's already out the window. So what's the point anymore? This is just a special level of depression coming from a franchise. We need to cherish this. Just watch these Panthers games knowing that they have no hope. There's literally nothing for them waiting at the end of this dark tunnel. Speaking of misery, God damn it. I'm shocked that even God himself let these teams play against each other. If you hate football yourself and love screens and slants, then boy do I have a game for you. If you squint a little and take some Benadryl, you might fool yourself into thinking you were just watching the Jets play the Jets, but no. Mac Jones still has a job in the NFL, or at least before he threw 2 picks again, and now he was benched once more. And while the Patriots dealt with their own problems, Brian Daboll was still doing his best to teach Tommy DeVito how to wipe his own ass, and it wasn't going great. DeVito has been much worse in the past, but if the Giants didn't get 2 turnovers off of Mac Jones, I don't think the Giants would have scored any points in this game. But I don't think they wanted to score points. Slowly but surely, the Giants have done a tremendous job sabotaging their own tank, and because Bill is a true acolyte to the suck, obviously instructing his young kicker who is playing for a job next year to miss his field goal, the Patriots are in prime, and I mean prime position to take home the gold, and the Giants, what more can I say? They're fumbling the tank. But before we get into the 1 o'clock games, this video is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest way to play fantasy sports, and my personal favorite way to do that is through the Pick'em game format, where you simply choose whether you believe a player will go higher or lower on a singular stat, and depending on how many you get right, you can win up to 20 times your money. And for these upcoming Sunday/Thursday games, I've already got 2 picks right here, which are Desmond Ridder under 186 passing yards and Jason Myers under 1.5 field goals made. So if you want to tail this pick'em entry or come up with your own, and you live in one of these many states in orange here on the screen, then click the link in the description to sign up with promo code TubFrog, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Also, if you sign up using my code for the first time, you'll receive a free pick'em offer this week, where all Dak Prescott has to do is throw for a singular yard on Thursday Night Football if you choose to go with that. So if all that sounds good to you, then go have some fun on Underdog, and make sure to use promo code TubFrog for a massive discount. And with that, let's get back to the recap.
How does this keep happening?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're at it again. We're doing the thing again. Oh yeah. We're drinking and driving once more. Do I need to pull up the Raider cycle again? Yeah, I will. You gotta see it, right? You guess where we're at right now. Guess what's lying ahead of us too. Now, yes, funny Raider man drinks and drives again, but I actually just had zero faith to win this game, but that would have been too easy, and the Raiders knew it too. So for the first quarter, we just dominated the Chiefs. The time of possession battle wasn't even close, and the team was playing with swagger and finesse. So then I had hope. And then Patrick Mahomes happened. All it took was a missed chip shot from Daniel Carlson for all the life to just drain out of my body as I watched Mahomes, Pacheco, and others just do what Mahomes/Alex Smith and whatever else is around them has been doing to us for the past 10 years. Aiden O'Connell is just not special, but maybe that's not the end of the world, but what is, though, is that we have 5 wins. We've won 5 games this season because we've just had the easiest schedule in the league, and you know, that's 3 too many wins to come anywhere near the Holy Grail, so I'm dropping another team. We're falling out of the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. It's a sad day, but it's fine. We don't need him. It wouldn't have worked out anyways. The Cardinals and Cowboys have got to be the two teams in the league that I've talked about the least. I mean, every game with Arizona for the past couple of weeks has just been a beating, except for the Texans one. I really thought Arizona would adjust from their last matchup, you know how good coaches do. Remember that? When the Rams decided to use Kyren Williams in the second half and it worked, so going into the game, you'd think the Cardinals would adjust to try and stop the same guy that murked them last time, but nah, it's fine. We'll lose quicker this way. Stafford just threw for an ultra-efficient 4 touchdowns, and nobody is saying anything. And for good reason, because the Cardinals barely qualify as a team. I would start to worry a lot more about Kyler and how comfortable he is in this offense if the team wasn't just in full tank mode. So, I'm not, but something's gotta give eventually. It is a tough scene out there in the desert.
You! I'm done!
This was a good game, maybe even great, but I just gotta get this off my chest again. The refs, man, the ref ball was out of control. Terrible call after terrible call. It just kept coming. These refs sucked both ways. Anyway, if there was ever a game to describe the Buffalo Bills in the Josh Allen era, it would be this one. The Bills got punched in the gullet to start the game, but punched back twice as hard. This team was showing some backbone. Who cares about the injuries and new offensive coordinator? Josh Allen is a man among children, and the defense was playing out of its mind too, forcing Jalen Hurts into one of the worst first halves of his life, and the Bills responded by missing 2 field goals. But it's fine, you know, the conditions are bad, field goals are hard, and it doesn't really matter because they still had momentum, and now that somehow went out the door. But it's fine, they still have Josh Allen, and god damn it, when he's in the zone, there's nobody on his level. So, the Bills found themselves back in the driver's seat, but they just can't do it. They can't escape their old ways. The defense royally f***ed up. Josh Allen derped, and then the defense let up an inexcusable touchdown. And any Bills fans left out there at this point must have just lost hope. But even if they did, it wasn't over yet. Back and forth, this game was an all-out war. And after the Gabriel Davis touchdown to take the lead for Buffalo in Philly, it hit me. This is a team that lost to the Patriots. They lost to the Broncos. They have 6 wins and are basically just trying to get into the playoffs. They're out of the playoffs right now, and here they are going toe for toe with the best team in the league. Even with all of their injuries at their best, the Bills are still on par with the best team in the NFL. It feels like they're wasting so much potential, and we're watching it in real time, but because they're the Bills and they can't be happy for more than 11 minutes, despite Jason Kelce trying to throw the game, Jake Elliott hits a league-wide altering kick to send the game to overtime? Oh no!
It is a heads. You like the ball. Which way would you like to?
Here's the pass down the field for the win. There goes Hurts to the end zone, and the Eagles have won it in overtime.
That's it. That's the season right there. You can't keep saying that the Bills were 1 play away from winning or 1 score or what have you, because an L is an L. And at this point, they can't even beat out the Colts for the last playoff spot in the AFC. They might get it eventually, but as of right now, they're just in a sad state. And it's just the same thing over and over and over again. Well, the Browns were already on hard mode with DTR at quarterback, but that experiment also seemed to be stifled, and even worse, the MVP of the league damn near was also injured, and even worse, you lost a massive AFC game to the Denver Broncos. But from the grave, slowly but surely, Sean Payton and Vance Joseph have reformed their reputations entirely, and to be honest, this game wasn't really close ever. The Broncos took a 14-0 lead after the Browns missed some opportunities, and then basically ran the ball every play until the clock struck 0, and all of a sudden, the Broncos are in the playoff race. So, for the 3rd time today, this is just truly a historic day, but I'm going to be taking another team off the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. Denver's just in the race, so congratulations. Keep it up, Russ.
Is anybody surprised about what happened?
No. Guys, I don't want to do this anymore. I could scream for 4 minutes again like I did last week. Keenan Allen and Eckler made oopsies. Quentin Johnson still sucks. Justin Herbert's getting crushed. And of course, they lost the game to Zay Flowers, who they actually passed on in the draft if you didn't know that. But I won't. I've had it. I have no energy left with this team. Instead, I'm just going to give you a patient and calm recap of this game from a completely unbiased point of view. Justin Herbert has led his team in rushing yards for 2 weeks in a row. Jalen Guyton is his number 2 receiver. The offense is quite literally Keenan Allen, get open somehow. And it was at about midway through the game when the Ravens were doing the bare minimum to hold a lead when I thought to myself, what is this team going to look like in 5 years? And that thought truly frightened me. Spanos is probably still going to be the owner. This team will have 0.2 fans. Mack, Bosa, Allen, Eckler, Derwin James, and others will be gone and retired. And do you honestly believe Justin Herbert will tolerate this franchise for 5 more years? Because I don't. This team is dangerously close into just turning into the Cleveland Browns if they haven't already. It's a slippery slope, Chargers. But to touch more on the football game played, the Ravens really did not look good at all. The defense did its thing, but as the game dragged on, Lamar and company really looked like they're going to miss Mark Andrews way more than anyone could have anticipated. But Zay Flowers is pretty good, and that was just enough to win. But if the Chargers lose to the Patriots next week, I might just have to drop another documentary. I don't know what else to say. This is just getting historic at this point. Let's just collectively agree that the first 54 minutes or so of this game just didn't happen. Josh Dobbs throwing 4 interceptions and almost finishing the first half with 9 passing yards? What are you talking about? You know, if you actually ignore the first 3 quarters or so of this game, it actually had a pretty damn good ending. There was some real drama with Josh Dobbs finally waking up and getting the Vikings down the field, and after Justin Fields fumbled twice in a row, it was just too little too late, and the Bears were able to hold on and get a win to do nothing. It literally did nothing for them. And meanwhile, the Vikings are in some trouble in the playoffs. This was a game they absolutely had to win, and they just didn't get it done, and even worse, looked terrible in the process. So I'm hoping the Josh Dobbs magic hasn't worn off, but it's looking like it might have. But first, it's time for the TubFrog Discord Awards, where we turn to you, the people, and see what you thought were the best and worst highlights from Week 12. And if you want to vote and be a part of this whole process, then join the Discord server. The link is in the description, and I post the polls after every Monday game. But with that, you said the best play from Week 12 wasn't even close. Javon Holland's obvious 99-yard pick six is one of the craziest plays I've ever seen in my life and probably will ever see, so that was obvious. And then the best game from Week 12 also just, this is probably the biggest blowout we ever had. The Eagles versus Bills game damn near got every vote, and it was great, but hampered by a little ref ball here and there. And the best individual performance also staying in that game. Jalen Hurts absolutely balled out of his mind and got the win for the Eagles. The worst team performance, and I can't believe it, but the Vikings actually beat out the Jets. I thought this wasn't even going to be close this week, but here we are looking at it. Anyway, then the worst individual performance was also shocking. I really thought Mac Jones was going to get his throne back, but no. Josh Dobbs, 4 picks, man. 4 picks speaks a lot, and he won this in a landslide. And then finally, I asked you what your favorite type of bear was, and wow, I'm so disappointed. You don't know anything about the Arctotherium bear. That's the goat bear right there. I'm so disappointed. The polar bear takes the win, though. But anyways, if you like this video, then subscribe, because I got a lot of videos on the channel just like this one. And if you did really like this video, then watch this video right here that I just did on how the Buffalo Bills lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. It's pretty good, trust me. But anyways, until next time.